Hey, the Bourbon Nut is back with my top whiskeys of 2025. Yes, it's finally here. Which one takes the top spot? Stick around and pour up. It's the Bourbon Nut. Hey, welcome or welcome back. My name is Brock, and thanks for joining me on this end of year, which is not really currently, but end of year top whiskeys of 2025. And I'm going to break down a little bit of how I came across these 20, some criteria, and explain how I arrived at these picks. So I might flash some pictures to show some of the workings behind the scenes a little bit. But essentially, for this list, some of the criteria for this had to be a release in 2025 or a bottle that I've never owned and acquired in 2025. I didn't include any store picks. There's some phenomenal store picks out there that I would love to put in there. Any samples that I've tried over the past year or so would not qualify for this as well either. So really it's just going to be a bottle that I own in 2025. So most of these are 2025 releases, and there's a couple of them that I've never owned before that made my list as well this year for the first time. Since I've never tried them before. So super excited to kind of dive into this list. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show a little bit of the bottom half of my top 20, right? Because what I did, and I might flash a couple of screenshots for you up here to show that I blinded the whole top 20. And then I push out what I would think would make the top 10. And then from there, I took the bottom 10 and I blinded it against themselves and ranked them. And then I took the top 10, blinded it against itself, and ranked them as well there too. So what you have is, in my opinion, more than double blind on each set, and then ranked to see which ones I like the best based on what I was able to buy in 2025. So I don't have, another caveat, I don't have any BTAC stuff. I didn't get any Jack Daniels 10, 12s, 14s, Tainard Hill. Any of those fun ones I've seen a lot of whiskey tubers put on their list that I wish I would be able to get. But I'm just your average Joe, don't get a lot of stuff, especially in a regulated state. It's a little harder to come by that stuff. So these are just ones I was able to acquire. And based on what I was able to pull for 2025, I ranked those accordingly, right? So that's how the list goes. And I have my laptop here that has the final rankings here. So I'm going to flash the bottom half of that 2020. So basically 11 through 20, 16 through 21st. And the cool thing about the bottles in this part of the list for top 20, again, you notice that, the bottom of that is the Bullet Bottle and Bond. I think it's a great addition that Bullet put that in there. I prefer that much better than their regular Bullet line offering the orange label, which I'm not a big fan of in general, but this is much better, I think, in my opinion. And it's not blind very well against other bottles, especially Bottle and Bonds around that age price point. So for that, it gets these other ones on the list, it rounds out the bottom of the top 20, but nonetheless the top 20, as most of the ones I was able to acquire for this year were, 2025. There was a few I drank before I got to do this list that were in 2025. So that's, the way it goes. But otherwise, outside that list, nothing too surprising. Old Fitz, it was meh to me, so it's towards the bottom of the top 20, but still a good pour. And the Wild Turkey 8-year. If I had gotten a hold of the 70th Special Edition, that would have been kind of cool. That might have ranked a little higher perhaps. But that's where the Wild Turkey 8-year landed at for me this time in 2025, so around 16 spots. So that's kind of what we got. Let me flash up 11 through 15. And couple things there that I liked about the 11 through 15 is the Middle West Wheated Whiskey Cask Strength. That one I noticed was on the Whiskey Advocate's top 20. I think it was number 14 if I'm not mistaken. If I'm wrong, I'll flash it up here what it actually ranked. But I think it was 14th, I believe. And, I've enjoyed Middle West products. I think they do a great job across the board in their lineup. Pumpernickel Rye, their baseline is super and fantastic. They got other cask strength offerings as well too that are really, really good. And the Middle West cask strength I thought was fantastic. The proof was really good. I thought it was a little unhinged for me, but I think the flavors overall from start to finish are pretty solid. So big fan of Middle West, and that's why that one came in the 11th spot there and enjoyed that as well. The other thing is 13th Colony. 13th Colony does a great job on things, and the bourbon cast strength that I got in early in 2025 is really good, I thought. A lot of good flavors. The proof really punches through on that one. And 13th Colony is out of Georgia, so they do a really good job of their stuff out there. So what else we got? On that list there, I think those are the main things that kind of stick out there for me. The Maker's Mark, I'll mention this one too. The Maker's Mark is a special series. It's a North Carolina series, so it's kind of maybe limited. Maybe comment down below. Let me know if the state series are going to be limited to only that state. It makes sense if it was, but I'm not sure. So that could be a small limitation there. But again, I purchased it around Thanksgiving, I believe, this past year. And, you know, it was about 60 bucks. And since it was a new release, I decided to stack it against the other ones that I purchased in 2025 and did pretty good. Like I said, it came in the 14th spot, really solid. I like the nose on it. Gave a little bit of banana characteristics, almost, besides it being a wheated mash, but a little bit of brown formage kind of vibe to it. So it was really good, I thought. And then the finish was, you know, medium on it, but good flavors all around. So that kind of rounds out the 11 through 20, right? The bottom half of that top 20. So what I'm gonna do now is, first I'm gonna get a sip here. Cheers. This one here that I'm sipping is actually on the podium. So we'll get to that in a little bit. But what I'm gonna do here, I got all the top 10 bottles off here to my left, your right. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start flashing these up here for you guys and just talk a quick second about each one of these. I don't wanna make this video too long, but let's go ahead and start at the top 10 list. I'm going to go to the computer here. So rounding out the top 10 in the number 10 spot, we have, I just mentioned this distillery a little bit ago, and we have 13th Colony. This is the cast strength rye. So the cast strength rye coming in at 120.7. This is a batch 2025. Really, really good. You know, one of my favorite ryes that I was able to obtain this year. I thought it was really super good. You know, I had the new Riff Balboa, which I thought was really good, 100 proof even, bottle and bond. The Balboa rye was another one that, you know, the first time I tried was this year. Really good. This one had a little more going on, a little more complexity. Again, 13th Colony, I think, does a great job on their products, and that's why I made the 10th spot. So really good tasty. I'm glad I was able to pick that up. And let's go to number 9. Number 9's kind of had a little bit of mixed reviews, right? So this is the Penelope Cigar Cigar Sessions Chapter 1. And, you know, with this one right here, we've had some people that thought it was meh. Some of them thought it wasn't a very good blend for being a cigar blend, and some loved it. For me, you know, it made the number 9 spot in my top 10 based on what I was able to gather for 2025. So I thought the flavors were really good. I enjoyed this bourbon a lot. I have paired it with a couple cigars over time, and I've done it with a buddy of mine. And the consensus was pretty, you know, consistent. It's a good bourbon. Pairs well with cigars. The flavors are not going to be too much overpowering, but it's got a lot of flavor, and the finishing aspect of it is really good. So a really tasty bourbon. I'm glad I was able to pick this up. Again, this was about 86, maybe 90 bucks. I picked it up in South Carolina. But again, good enough to make the number 9 spot for me. Number 8. So number 8, a little bit of a surprise. I've talked about this one a good bit, done some blinds with it, and that is the Jim Beam Old Granddad 7-year bottle and bond. Now, this one to me was really good. I was surprised the profile was a little off for typical Jim Beam products, but this was a little more sweeter on the front end, which I really enjoyed a lot. And as you can tell, you know, I'm getting to the tail end of this, and I need to go get a backup bottle because this ends up being like a great daily sipper almost as well too, and for about 40 bucks, that fits the bill pretty much. But really good flavors, really sweet on the front end. It holds enough on its own of a finish at 100 proof to be worthy of just a really good sipper. So really enjoyed that one, and that made my 8 spot on the list here. So that's number 8. Sip here. Can't wait till we get to that one. All right, so in the number 7 spot, this one might get a little hate based on the value, but you can't deny the flavor on it because it's really, really good. I'm a big fan of Brown-Forman. I'm talking, this is the Woodford Double Oak. Yes, it's pricey as hell, 200 bucks to buy 700 milliliters, so you're getting gypped 50 mils. I get it, I understand it. My blind was done on taste, nose and taste. So I didn't really get into the value a whole lot on this. I just really went with what my palate and nose really enjoyed. And for me, this fit the bill really, really well. I enjoyed Woodford Double Oak in general. So the Double Oak is just the Double Oak on steroids, right? So it was really good, enjoyed it, and that's why I ended up being in my, and that's why I ended up coming to my 7th spot. So heavy dark caramels, wood sugars, the barrel char, wood, just really good. Enjoyed that one a lot. So again, I tend to gravitate to Brown-Forman profiles in general. That's just me personally. Doesn't mean I don't like other profiles of bourbon as well too. So that one just happens to resonate with me a lot, but really good. But you know, it was good enough to be in the number 7 spot for me. And we'll keep on going with the list here. So let's move on to number 6. So number 6 on the list here for this one is a new release, you know, from a legacy distillery that puts out a barrel proof offering already in their bourbon. And they just released their new one in A925. And yes, I am talking about Elijah Craig barrel proof rye. This is really good, really balanced. I know I've knocked it for not having the proof that its brother has on the bourbon side, ranging in that 118, 125, 126 range. This one comes in here at a modest 108, but it's got a nice age statement of 12 years, 3 months, yes. And is a really good, solid pour. Very well balanced. Barrel spice is it just goes perfectly with the sweetness on this one. So nothing is overpowering, just a good balanced sipper. Really good. Elijah Craig, I think, did a good job on this first one. I'm hoping, Elijah Craig, if you're listening, you'll kind of ramp up the proof a little bit on these and really start knocking it out of the park on the proof side of it with it. And I think that'll just add some layers of complexity and some robust flavors that might come out of that as well. But hey, for me, this one was good enough. It was for number 6 spot as a rye. And again, you know, this is one list. So the ryes are competing against the bourbons are competing against the ryes. I didn't do 2 separate lists. I know some people do that, but I just did it all together and said, screw it, I'm just gonna put it all together. So this was good enough for number 6. So let's go to number 5. Let me check the list here. So number 5. Also a pickup I was able to get summertime, and this is Old Forester 1924. To me, 1924 is really, really good in terms of just my profile. Right up my alley, right? Again, Brown-Forman with Old Forester. So the 10-year age statement, the mature oak comes through on this one a lot. It's balanced really well with the vanilla caramel aspect of this. You get a little bit of that banana split kind of thing going on. That's really good. And the barrel spice on the back end is not overpowering, and it just kind of marries up really nicely. So just a solid pour for 10-year age stated bourbon. Really enjoyed this. Really happy with this Old Forester product. So, and again, I like the Old Forester lineup in general, but this is the only one I was kind of able to get for this year, but really glad I did. And that's why this one comes in at the number 5 spot. So we're kind of getting to the top 3 here shortly. We got one more to go, hitting the number 4 spot. And this one right here, to me, was probably my biggest surprise. Consider I've never tried this one, never really heard much about them. And then they come on the scene when I buy it and hear about it from, mainly from Bruzel. TJ over Bruzel, you know, running with the Rooster, you know, venture where he's running all over the damn country and stuff, you know, selling, you know, bottles of liquor or giving away liquor out of the back of the trunk. And it was Old Dominic sponsoring that, right? So I saw that, heard about the Old Dominic 8-year, was able to find it in South Carolina. And you guessed it, it hits at the number 4 spot. This is so damn good. I was super impressed. You know, these guys are out of Memphis, right? So Tennessee whiskey, but man, did they whip up a awesome product. The 8-year, I think, is fantastic. It is super rich, super dark, dense. It does have that Tennessee whiskey, that charcoal mellowing filtering process on it, but man, it is super tasty. I really enjoyed this one. This I salivate on and want more every time I sip on it too. And as you can tell, you know, this one I've gone through and, you know, I can find it in South Carolina periodically. It's not readily. I see it everywhere. So I'm kind of keeping an eyeball out. If I see it, I'm going to buy it for $60, at least in the South Carolina market. That might be the MSRP as well, but super damn good. Really glad I got it. And definitely going to keep Old Dominic on the radar now with our cast strength products. I think they have a bottle and bond as well. They might have other products. I'm not really sure. They have a cast strength, but not sure what else there is. I think they have a small batch or bourbon or straight bourbon whiskey. But the Old Dominic 8-year is where I'm at with it. And so that's what I'll be looking for. Unless someone can tell me something else is as good or better than that, then that's probably what I'll gravitate and look for first. So really good. So now we're at the top three, right? These are the ones that podium. So before we get into that, do me a favor. If you enjoy this content, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. I am approaching 200 subscribers. Yes, it's not a lot. Each and every one of you guys liking the video, subscribing helps me out a lot as I continue to improve content and try to provide videos that's valuable, educational, and just honest. Honest reviews, honest opinions from just an average dude like myself that's able to get what I can get, right? So thanks for doing that, and let's get on to the top three. So this one right here is actually what I'm sipping here, and this hits the podium at our number 3 spot. Number 3. Never run this bottle. Got it this year, and man, is it fantastic. Peerless Double Oak Rye. Holy shit. That is fantastic. I've had some of the Peerless products in the past. I've had their straight bourbon. I think I've had their toasted bourbon. It's really good as well. I don't think I've had the double oak bourbon, but the double oak rye I was able to get at a lottery just before the holidays. And man, I'm glad I picked it up. Around 110, 115 bucks. This is delicious. This is like maple syrup wrapped with like a little bit of rye spice, caramel, barrel char, and just really, really good. Consistency all the way through, start to finish. Just a really enjoyable pour. I enjoy this a lot, and that's what I've been sipping on. It's really, really good. As you can see, I keep going back to it regular instead of doing this video, so I'm just prolonging things. So let's get to the number 2. Number 2 on the list. I also picked up during the holiday time frame, and this one, I might have flashed it. This one was at a lottery event. This one was too, but not in the lottery. It was available to purchase on the side while we were waiting for the actual lottery. This one was actually on the lottery list, and I'm talking, this is Old Carter. Old Carter coming in the second spot. Never have owned one. Last time I tried one was back in 2019, like pre-COVID, on the Whiskey Road Trail series with some friends at Louisville. And I thought at the time it was a little hot for me. Coming back to it 6 years later or so, man, it is fantastic. 116 proof. It's really got some depth to it, some darkness, some stone fruit to it. I really like the flavor on this lot. It marries very well, very good balance across the board. And I really enjoy this. First time having a bottle of Old Carter for 2025. Glad I've got it. It is fantastic, and it hits the number 2 spot for me, which means we have arrived to the number 1 bourbon for me in 2025 for the bourbon nut, for what I was able to grab. And this bottle may not be surprised if you've been following the channel for a little bit or know what things I tend to gravitate and like in general. This bottle is a shelfer, and I've started to see it on the shelf more often. And this is coming from a legacy distiller that just puts out banger products, ridiculously good products, ridiculously good shelfer products, as well as their releases. And I'm talking Jack Daniel's. This is the Heritage Single Barrel, and man, this thing is just barrel candy for days. Super sweet, dense, toasted notes on it like a campfire, graham cracker. But this is a fantastic bottle. I'm super glad that they are making this a shelf offering regularly because this one I would pick up no brainer all day, every day for 80 bucks MSRP in my market here in the area. That's a no brainer. Very, very delicious. Super glad I was able to get this along with the other ones for 2025. And again, you know, this is subjective in terms of this is my palate. This is what I liked. You may have some different rankings. Comment down below. Let me know some of your top bourbons for 2025. What were they? And let me know. Smash the like button. Subscribe to the channel. Until next time, Happy New Year and sip your passion.